Hello, everybody. This is a webinar specific to the special projects peer review panels, which consist of civic and community engagement, services to seniors, and food security. So many of you have read from me before, but there are a few that are new to the panel, so I'd like to just go through this process. So when you Google our website, the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, you get to this site, of course. When you get here, you click grant opportunities. And what you want to do before you do anything is you want to at least read the special projects guidelines, which is this one here. There are three panels. One is going to be reviewing civic and community engagement, food security, and services to seniors. So civic and community engagement is designed to support organizations whose mission is to educate community residents on how to effectively work with community groups in addressing a community issue. Now, that can take a myriad of different approaches. And so this description is super broad so that it allows the organizations that are applying for this to, build in the approach in helping local communities, young adults, seniors, whatever the age group, to better understand their civic duty. And it's just not about voting. Excuse me. It's just not about voting. It's about the responsibility of the individual in working, of the community working collectively with various stakeholders to address a particular issue. So it's a win-win for everybody. So it can be workshops, it can be presentations, it can be whatever the model is, so long as it speaks to better educating the community on their responsibility to galvanize support from various stakeholders in addressing a social issue. Then as you have food security, which is a food security grant, right? And it's about organizations that are feeding or distributing food to individuals that are marginalized, and or distributing food to organizations who then distribute food to those that are marginalized. And then there's services to seniors, designed to provide activities and services that promote aging in place, prevent isolation, and maintain or improve the quality of life of low-income seniors in the community. And so all the applicants that are applying for one of those three are following the same criteria. To have a project summary, organization capacity statement of needs, statement of collaboration, project design, target population, goals and objectives, evaluation, budget. Then they have to upload a logic model. They have to upload a board resolution, but that's not for you to worry about. And they have to upload the most recent IRS Form 990. Okay. And so the rating sheet will be following these criterias. And when you read the applications, and I'm going to get into the application, how to access it, you read and rate the application on the merit of the application. I don't need anybody doing any additional research on the organization. That's not what you're asked to do. You're asked to review the application. Did they answer the bullets in the rating sheet that correspond with these criterias? And you'll have a value, a range of points per section, which are here at maximum rating points. Okay, great. They'll all have to upload a logic model, which is here, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'll show you how to look at that. All right. So now let me just do this real quick. So SAGE is our online system that stands for Systems for Administering Grants Electronically. And the steps that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to identify just one of the subcategories, probably food security. But the steps that I'm going to go through are universal to civic and community engagement, as well as services to seniors. All right. So everybody has received their username and password, and we're going to access the application. Please make sure that you're able to access the applications. Applications are due, well, I'm going to get that in a few seconds. So the SAGE website is www.sage.nj.gov. That's the link that you're going to have to use to access the SAGE portal to review the applications. Make sure that you do not use Google Chrome when you're going into SAGE. Google Chrome does not work at all with SAGE. It doesn't interface well at all with SAGE. So if you're using Google Chrome and you're inputting information and you're putting in scores and it looks like you did it and you're saving it and it looks like you saved it, when we get it, we're going to see a blank rating sheet. So please do not use Google Chrome. Use either Safari or Microsoft Edge. Remember to always hit the save button in SAGE. SAGE does not have an automatic save feature. So when in doubt, hit save. If you have any questions, my cell phone, this is my cell phone here, 732-289-1896. And this is my email. So now we're going to go live. So let's go live. All right. So you get your username and password. I'm going to use Hamna's password, username and password for now. All right. So when you get into SAGE, you're going to see, your name up here, welcome Hamna, or welcome Gina, or welcome whoever the peer reviewer is. And you come down to My Task and you open up the drop-down box. And then these are all the applications that are assigned to the food security grant panel. Civic and community engagement and services to seniors is not this intensive. So I want to give a shout out to Gina and Quadir and Hamna, because this is the monster they're going to be dealing with. All right. So to access the application, you click the grant number here under at home review under name, and the application pops up. Okay. And so the first thing we want you to do is, the first thing I'm going to show you is, this is how you can read the application. You can either hover over forms menu, and then you start from project summary. The other profile information, selection of grant category, organizational contact information, that's all information internal to the Office of Faith-Based Initiative. The actual application begins from project summary and goes all the way down to overall budget, okay? And so to read the application, you can click project summary, and you can read the project summary sections on the portal itself, and each link you'll be able to read. So for example, here's organizational capacity. And then you can read it that way, which can be a little tedious, right? Or you can download a PDF version of the application. So how do you download a PDF version of the application? So you hover over management tools, you click create full print version, and then you'll come down and you click logic model, and that's it. And then you'll come up to the top and you click print version. It'll take like a minute for SAGE to collect the information, and then you'll be prompted to this. This is the PDF version. It's on a link. It's a download print version, and you'll have to save it. But everything you need to read is here, so it's a lot easier to read, right? You can enlarge it, so it's a lot easier to read. You can save it on your laptop or computer. So it has all the information that you need here. And it also has the budget. As you keep scrolling down, it'll give you the budget information. But the budget is easier to read online on the SAGE portal than it is here. And then it'll also give you the logic model. So you can actually read the logic model here. If you want to look at the budget online and you want to go back to the application, always hit the grant number or the document information number. And then you can go over forms menu and you can scroll down to the budget pages. So it'll be personnel expenses. This is a lot easier for me. It seems easier to read the budget on the Sage portal than it is on the PDF file, because everything is right here. Bam, right? Then you can also consultant contract services. Everything is here. Most of the folks don't have consultants, so you don't have to worry about that, but check it out. And then other cost categories. The bulk of the budget is in other cost categories. So it's all here, right? They're using the bulk of their budget. The cost for all the food is $27,345. They're charging the grant $14,000, and so that's where they're at, right? And I think a little bit of that money is probably in personnel. And then what you'll do then is go to overall budget, make sure that everything is there. They're requesting $20,000, and so there's got $14,000 and consumable supplies, which is for food, this is a food security program, and then $6,000 for personnel costs. Okay, so that's how you read the application, right? And so now to rate the application, you hover over Forms menu, you scroll down to Rating Sheet, and you click Rating Sheet. And so when you click the rating sheet, you get to the page where you'll have to insert the scores, right? And so the grant guidelines and the rating sheet align with each other, right? And so you've read the application, hopefully you took notes per section, and then when you get to this page, it'll say, okay, did they answer these 2 bullets that align with the grant guidelines? And then you can say, well, did the applicant provide the title of the project, the amount requested, and the purpose of the funding requested? Yeah, but they missed some stuff. Maybe they didn't give you the purpose of the funding, or they didn't give you the project. So instead of a 2.5, they get a 1.5. I don't know. It's up to your discretion. And then, based on what the next bullet says, did they provide the information needed for the second bullet? Okay, well, it's either a 0 to a 2.5. This is where what we need you to do. Regardless of whether you give them a 2.5 per bullet or a 0, we need comments in the comments section of why they received the highest grade. Not, the applicant provided the title of the project, the amount requested, and the purpose for the funding, and they indicated that the clients being served will fall under the county low-income guidelines. Okay, fine. That's all we need. If the score was less than 2.5, then you need to say why you scored at a 2.5. And this is why this is important. When the applicant is not approved funding, they, invariably, when they get the denial letter, they're going to call me and say, hey, Eddie, we'd like to know the reasons why we got funded so that we can strengthen our application. Believe it or not, people do that. And so we pull the comments that you put in the rating sheet and identify them as strengths and weaknesses and send it to them. And so it's critical that you put comments down and you can't say, look at the previous comments. You just can't say that. You want to, each comment box should be specific. Okay. All right. So as you go down, so the preliminary scores, the individual scores per panel, are due May 18th. Right, so you go down and you read the bullets, and you got notes on the application that you downloaded as a PDF file, and hopefully you have double monitors, so you're working this thing out. You're rolling along, you're plugging in the numbers, you're putting in necessary comments, content, and think about the comments as this is the information that Eddie needs to help position the organization if they were denied to submit a stronger application next year. And check it out. And if they scored high, like, I don't know, they scored an 80, but they didn't get funded, then I need to pull out why they only scored an 80 as opposed to an 85 or an 86. So it's really based on your comments. Anyway, you'll do all that, put in the comments, and then you would enter the strengths and weaknesses of the application. And that's key. That's very important that you do that, right? So, you can pull from the comments up here and then copy and paste them in the strengths or weaknesses, or you can just, and because that way, this is the information that we pull from to give the organization the feedback that they need. So Sage will calculate the preliminary scores here. And anything that scored a 70 or higher can be recommended for funding. Anything that scored a 69 or lower is not recommended for funding. So a 70 or higher under the draft drop-down box, you would click yes if it's 70 or higher. If it's 69 or lower, you would click no. Then on your deliberation date, you would all meet virtually, and the preliminary rating box would be locked, and the final rating column would be ungrade. And then everybody would open up, for example, this is A, E, C, D, C. All right, so that panel, each panel member opens up that application, and collectively you will say, hey, what did you score the first two bullets on the project summary? And if Eddie scored it a 1.5 in the preliminary rating, and somebody else scored it a 2, and somebody else scored it a 1, and you're comfortable with those scores, you can simply move the score over. If there's a 0, if Eddie on the second bullet gave them a 0, and Sherry gave them a 1.5, and Tim gave them a 2, then there needs to be a conversation about that score, right? Why the discrepancy in the score? Why a 0? What is it that you didn't see? And what is it that we think we saw because we gave it a whole number grade? And then either the 0 needs to come up to a whole number, or everybody's got to come down, right? And that's the deliberation. And then you give comments about why the score was changed here. Each panel would have to give comments of supporting their initial comments, or saying, hey, the initial comment said this, but after our deliberation, the second bullet was really here. And here's the deal: when you read the applications, it's on the merit. You can't infer. So if it's either they state it or they don't state it. All right. And so when you're done, as you do each section per application, then Sage will automatically update the score sheet, the total here. And if it's a 70 or higher, you'll come down to the bottom. The draft drop-down box will be locked, and the final drop-down box will be open. And then you click and say, hey, yeah, we want to give them, they should be recommended for funding. Again, we also need your final strengths and weaknesses here. So there's strengths and weaknesses for the preliminary numbers, and then there's strengths and weaknesses for the final numbers. And it's key that you do that. All right. Once that's done, then what happens? Well, we then at the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives collect the information, collect the grades, average them out, and prepare to create award and denial letters based on your ratings, right? And so again, it's really critical that the initial scores, the preliminary scores, are all done by May 18th. I need each panel to email me. I want you to meet collectively, right? A civic and community engagement panel, services to seniors panel, and food security panel. Say, hey, when do we want to deliberate in June? What's the day? What's the time? So that everybody agrees upon it. Here's the deal. It's either Monday through Friday, and the last scheduled date for any day in June is 6 o'clock at night. So you'll be, if you choose Thursday, June, I'm just throwing something out, June 15th at 6 o'clock, you'll get a block of 4 hours. So you're working from 6 to 9, all right? And so the sooner you get me that information, the sooner I can lock it in, and then I'll send you a calendar invite. I want to get all the deliberations done, all the deliberations and final scores inputted in June, because I want to release all the stipends simultaneously in July. So that way you don't have to wait till August, that you get it immediately. It's still the summertime and you can do whatever you want with that stipend moving forward. If you have any questions, please call me, text me. You have my cell phone number. The other thing is I want to thank everybody for committing to be peer reviewers. Again, for the veterans of the crew, I'm saluting you. And for the rookies, welcome aboard. This is going to be a great opportunity to learn and see how your decisions collectively, rookies and veterans, how your decisions will be used to fund nonprofit organizations statewide to deliver services to the most marginalized individuals in our society. So I want to thank you for taking on this commitment, and for in advance, thank you for your due diligence. All right, that'll be it. Thank you. Have a good day.